Picture this. A woman who once looked at her husband with pure adoration now sits across from him at dinner, feeling like she's dining with a stranger. The man she promised to love forever is right there, but somehow he feels a million miles away. If you've been married for decades, this scenario might hit closer to home than you'd like to admit. What happens when the woman who used to light up when you walked through the door now barely looks up from her book? When the person who once hung on your every word seems completely checked out? It's one of marriage's most painful mysteries, the slow, quiet retreat of a wife's affection. And here's what most people don't understand. It rarely happens because she stopped loving you. It happens because she stopped feeling loved. Today, we're diving deep into why women in long marriages start pulling away emotionally, and more importantly, what you can do about it before it's too late. Whether you're the husband wondering what went wrong, the wife feeling disconnected, or someone who wants to protect their own relationship, stick around. What you learn today could save your marriage. The weight of keeping everything together. Here's something most men never fully grasp. Your wife has probably been the invisible glue holding your life together for years. She remembers when the kids need new school supplies, keeps track of family birthdays, schedules doctor appointments, and somehow always knows where you left your keys. But as she gets older, this constant mental load starts feeling less like love and more like a job she never applied for. The problem isn't that she minds helping, it's that she minds being the only one who thinks about these things. When a woman realizes she's been carrying the emotional weight of the entire family while her husband just exists in the life she's created, resentment begins to build. She starts wondering, what would happen if I just stopped doing everything? Would he even notice? When conversations die. Remember when you first got together? You could talk for hours about everything and nothing. You asked her about her dreams, her fears, what made her laugh. But somewhere along the way, those conversations got replaced by logistics. Did you pay the electric bill? What time is dinner? Don't forget, we have that thing tomorrow. Women crave connection through conversation. They want to know that you're still curious about their inner world. When the deep talks disappear, she doesn't just miss the conversation, she misses feeling known by you. A woman can handle a lot of problems in marriage, but feeling invisible to her own husband isn't one of them. The never-ending mess. Let's talk about something that might sound trivial, but absolutely isn't: housework. Even in 2025, studies show women still handle most household tasks, and for many wives, this becomes a symbol of everything wrong in their marriage. It's not really about the dishes in the sink or the laundry on the floor. It's about what those things represent. When a woman has to ask her husband to help with basic household tasks, it sends a message. This is your house, but it's her responsibility. After decades of this dynamic, many women reach a breaking point. They're tired of being the house manager, tired of feeling like the only adult in the relationship. What starts as annoyance about dirty socks becomes deep resentment about feeling unequal in the partnership. Growing in different directions. Here's where things get really complicated. As women age, many of them become hungry for new experiences. They want to learn new skills, travel to places they've never been, meet new people, and explore parts of themselves they put on hold during the child-raising years. But if their husband is content to stay exactly where he's always been, she starts feeling trapped. This isn't about her being selfish or restless. It's about her recognizing that life is finite and she doesn't want to waste what time she has left. If she feels like her husband is holding her back from growth, or worse, if he shows no interest in growing alongside her, the emotional distance grows wider every day. When touch and closeness fade. Intimacy in marriage goes way beyond what happens in the bedroom. It's about feeling desired, feeling attractive to your spouse, feeling emotionally connected. When couples stop touching casually, no more hand-holding, no more spontaneous hugs, no more lingering kisses goodbye, women often interpret this as a sign that they're no longer desired. Here's what happens. She starts feeling invisible, then she starts feeling unattractive, then she starts protecting herself by pulling away emotionally. It becomes a cycle where both people retreat, each waiting for the other to make the first move. But someone has to break the cycle, and it can't always be her job to fix what's broken. The retirement reality check. Retirement is supposed to be the reward for decades of hard work, but for many couples, it becomes a relationship crisis. Suddenly, the husband who was gone 50-plus hours a week is home all the time, often with no clear idea of how to spend his days. And guess who becomes his entertainment committee? His wife. Many women look forward to retirement as their chance to finally focus on themselves, pursue their own interests, maybe even discover who they are outside of being someone's wife and mother. But instead, they find themselves managing their husband's boredom and social needs on top of everything else they were already doing. Instead of feeling more free, they feel more trapped than ever. The pain of being unheard. One of the most damaging things that can happen in a long marriage is when a woman stops feeling heard. She tries to share her concerns, her feelings, her needs, but gets dismissed, ignored, or met with defensiveness. Over time, she learns that her voice doesn't matter, so she stops using it. This is heartbreaking, because the woman who once shared everything with you becomes quiet, not because she has nothing to say, but because she's learned that saying it doesn't change anything. When a wife stops complaining, stops asking for things, stops trying to fix problems, that's not peace, that's surrender. And once she surrenders, winning her back becomes incredibly difficult. The wake-up call of aging. As people get older, they start losing friends, attending more funerals, facing their own health scares. These experiences change how they see their remaining time. A woman who might have tolerated an unfulfilling marriage in her 40s might look at that same marriage in her 60s and think, is this really how I want to spend whatever years I have left? This isn't about being selfish or ungrateful. It's about recognizing that time is precious and life is short. If she doesn't feel valued, cherished, or happy in her marriage, she may decide that protecting her peace is more important than preserving a relationship that drains her energy. When she stops fighting for the marriage, here's the scariest part. When a woman finally stops trying to fix things, many husbands mistake this for things getting better. The nagging stops, the requests for help decrease, the emotional conversations end. But this isn't improvement, it's detachment. She hasn't found peace with the situation, she's found peace without you. A woman who stops fighting for her marriage hasn't necessarily given up on love. She's often given up on the idea that this particular relationship will ever give her what she needs. She redirects her energy toward friendships, hobbies, personal growth, anything that makes her feel valued and alive. The path back to each other. But here's the thing, none of this has to be permanent. Love in long marriages isn't about grand romantic gestures or returning to who you were 30 years ago. It's about making the daily choice to see each other, to value each other, to show up for each other in small but meaningful ways. If you're a husband recognizing yourself in this description, it's not too late. Start listening. Really listening when she talks. Notice the work she does and thank her for it. Ask about her dreams and support them. Share the load of running your life together. Show her through your actions that she still matters to you as a person, not just as a wife. And if you're a wife feeling disconnected, ask yourself, is there still someone worth fighting for underneath years of habit and disappointment? Are you willing to be vulnerable enough to express what you need, even if you've been disappointed before? Marriage isn't about reaching a finish line where you can coast for the rest of your lives. It's about continuing to choose each other, continuing to put in effort, continuing to grow together even when it would be easier to grow apart. The couples who make it work in their later years aren't the ones who never had problems. They're the ones who decided their love was worth the work it takes to keep it alive. Your marriage is one of the most valuable things you'll ever build. Don't let it crumble from neglect when a little attention could make it stronger than ever. If this video opened your eyes to something in your own relationship, I want to hear about it in the comments below. And if you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because we're just getting started on exploring what it really takes to make love last. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's never too late to fall in love with each other all over again.